Iron Spider, Digivolve 2, Regular Spider-Man.
Hello, this is Ken. I like making things. I love finding affordable ways to DIY a variety of things. Money can't buy everything except maybe figures. I love collecting figures and recreating iconic scenes. Every figure deserves to shine on my display. So every week I ask myself the same question and answer it by creating something I'm proud of. Join my weekly adventure by subscribing to my channel. Leave your feedback and suggestions down below. I often get inspired by your comments, and I hope I can inspire you too.
Last time, I fixed my Marvel Legends Iron Spider figure, making it look more metallic and more screen accurate. Check that video out if you haven't already. Today, I'm gonna fix another Spider-Man figure. This time, Spider-Man from Homecoming. This figure didn't catch my attention back when it first came out, because it looks cartoonish. And something just seems off. It just doesn't look like the MCU Spider-Man. But I think I know why, and I think I can make it better. So,
Let's deconstruct this figure.
Okay, I know most people complain about the lack of painted web lines on Spider-Man figures, but in this case, I think they overdid it. The lines are overdone where they become a distraction rather than a nice accent. The other odd thing is those gigantic eyes of his. I don't think the MCU Spider-Man has ever opened his eyes that wide. It makes him look more cartoonish than like live action.
That's my analysis. It doesn't mean this figure isn't great. I just wanted to make it even better. So, can I make it?
Okay, first, let's fix those web lines. If you watched my Iron Spider video, you'll see that I added in the web lines to the figure and then I reduced the intensity of the lines by going over them with the red paint. In my opinion, that created more natural looking web lines. So since this figure already has web lines painted in, I just need to do the second half of the procedures, applying thin coats of red all over the red areas of the figure. I'm using a dry brush here so that the paint will only hit areas around the lines, cleaning up any messiness the original lines made. A bit of paint will get into the lines, but because I'm applying very thin layers at a time, it will only affect the lines slightly. Which is what I want actually. I want the lines to be less harsh, so the figures looks less busy. Another way to do this is completely cover up all the lines and redo them with a fine pen. I did that with my Far From Home figure, and I don't love the result. And I also don't have the patience to go over all the lines. So this method works for me. I just feel like I have more control this way. If I want the lines to be more obvious, I'll apply less paint. If I want the lines to be more subtle, then I can apply more coats of red. As I apply the red paint, I started noticing how much better the figure looks with fainter lines. Which I still find ironic, because that's usually the issue with all the other Spider-Man figures. Alright, I've gone over the figure with a couple of coats of red. You can see that the lines are much cleaner and the red color is now much more vibrant. Kinda like in a movie. Okay, next, I'm adding in the black stripes around his elbows. At first I wasn't going to, because the stripes are kinda molded in at the joints. So they're gonna look strange once I start posing the figure. But I ended up doing it because I think that's what makes Tom Holland's Spider-Man unique, the black stripes all over the suit. I just have to be careful adding them so they don't look too warped when posed. Next, a step that's kind of optional. I'm painting his soles black. It's likely that they'll never be shown, but I still want them black. Next, I'm using a satin varnish to make all the black lines a bit shinier. This will differentiate the textures and make the suit look more realistic. I've added a link to the varnish in the description box if you're interested. Sometimes the smallest difference changes everything. Besides the color accuracy, the glossiness needs to match the material too. When I look at reference photos of the suit, I see that the rims of his eyes are also made of that glossy plastic-like material. So I'm going to apply the varnish over the rims of his eyes too. And finally, the pins and hinges on his arms. They are red instead of blue. They're so distracting. I may or may not pose my Spider-Man in this particular pose, so I need those pins blend in with the figure. Alright, I was gonna end there, but I got curious. The figure came with two heads. This head is a less impressive head. His eyes are squinting. I don't think I'll pose my Spider-Man with squinting eyes. But the other head just looks so... surprised. Eh? I noticed that the mechanical lenses are molded in. If I follow the mold and paint the eyes one level bigger, they should look normal. Since this head is the inferior head, I can experiment on it, and if it fails, I'll just stick with the giant eyes. Okay, need to stop breathing to keep my hands steady. I need to keep the strokes clean and straight for them to look good. The other issue is that the white areas are sunken in. So besides expanding the white areas, I also have to fill in the holes so the eyes look flush. Gotta add a bit of varnish onto the rims again, and I'll continue working on the eyes off screen. Hiya! Here's the finished head. Now that looks like the Spider-Man I know. This is so much better than the other head now. Okay, let's look at the finished figure. I love the final result. He looks more natural now. His suit just looks cleaner like this. And it's very vibrant like in the movie too. I also love that the spider symbol is now glossy. Small details, but it draws your attention right to the center of the figure. Let's have a closer look. The web lines are still there, and they are not messy anymore. Okay, let's swap to the head with the normal eyes. Ooh, that looks so much more screen accurate. Now everything looks balanced and proportionate. He looked like he had an oversized head before, but not anymore. This head turned out perfect. I'm definitely displaying mine with this head. Now let's end this video with the photo shoot. I'm so shocked. This figure looked quite cartoonish at first, and didn't resemble the MCU version at all. But now, he looks like the Tom Holland Spider-Man from the movie. Those new eyes turned out really well. It wasn't easy making the paint dry flat. It took me a while to get that right. But in my opinion, these eyes are what make the figure look screen accurate. They also visually shrink the head, so everything else now look correct proportionally. The only downside to this figure is that it's hard to balance. The Iron Spider figure has those spider legs I could use to do some dynamic poses, but this figure kinda has to stay somewhat upright if I don't want to use a stand. What do you guys think? Do you like what I've done? Are you gonna fix yours too? Let me know down below. Give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more Spider-Man related content. I want to do a couple more MCU Spider-Man related videos this month. Here are the two Spider-Men I've fixed so far. And I have to admit, I think I like the Homecoming one more now. Sometimes you don't need flashy clothes to stand out. You look your best when you are true to yourself. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay inspired and I'll see you soon. I can make it, so can you.